Hello!
Welcome back to another wonderful episode of Metal Gear University.
I am T.
And I am Kay. And that was a perfect intro.
That was the first take. No, really, it was the first take.
It has been 2 weeks since our recent adventure into Metal Gear Solid 3. And we have another wonderful episode today, as always. But a lot of traversing this episode.
It's more of a environmental storytelling, so to speak.
I would say this part of the game is kind of showing you, okay, you can explore. The environment's much larger. You're in nature. I feel like Metal Gear Solid 2, you were stuck in a tanker. Couldn't really do much.
Well, and the tanker and the big shell and
this one's like
Shadow Moses is even smaller.
So this one's like explore, go.
Yeah. This is definitely part of the game where things open up and there are new things to do, new mechanics, and but we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah, we'll jump into that. I just wanted to kind of like set the scene, set the mood for today.
Now, Kay and I, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We just got off of a binge of Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah. Like literally right before we started recording, and when I told this to my coworker and she told me don't pick a favorite, she wasn't lying.
Yeah,
I did pick a favorite.
It's hard. You see, for me, spoilers are basically any kind of comment about a show. So like things like that I hate. I hate when coworkers or friends are like, "Oh, like I love this part," or "Oh, this is really good." Don't say anything to me, which is why I'm hesitant to talk about this show even right now. I love going in like super new and unfazed by anything. So all I will say is that it's worth a watch. We started this show, I want to say last week, and we're almost done with it. So it just goes to show you how invested we are.
It's incredible. It is one of the best animes I've seen in recent years. I know that it's animated by MAPPA, who also did Attack on Titan.
They are the best in the business right now.
Man.
I hope, first off,
those guys are working hard.
I hope they're getting paid for the time they put in, because I feel like with also video game designers and video game, what's the job title?
3D animators or like honestly anybody that works the back end in the video game industry.
You hear this kind of scene is full of overworked people, underpaid. Mm-hmm. So when MAPPA and all these animators, they are putting in love. This show is one of the most beautiful shows I've seen in a while.
Yeah, there's a lot of unsung heroes out there. Unionize. Who said that? Yeah, there's a lot of unsung heroes in both the video game and anime industry.
But Jujutsu Kaisen, definitely worth a watch. It's one of my favorite type of animes too, because I think it's only going to be 3 seasons. It's not like, no offense to One Piece, but it's not like a continuous 1,000 episode journey. This one's going to be done by the 3rd season, and short and sweet.
Yeah, no diss to One Piece lovers out there. I like One Piece.
I like One Piece too. And I was Luffy last year for Halloween.
It's just, for me, and I think I could speak for Kay as well. We both like animes that are kind of like a one and done, like 1 season, 2 season,
Gurren Lagann,
3 to 4 maybe. Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan was like 6 seasons though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that it wasn't like crazy long seasons here. It was like an average show. Like Breaking Bad was 6 seasons.
True. Yeah, I guess this whole kind of anime where it's continuous, and I think that's why One Piece we fell off. I think for me personally, I get nervous starting it because I know how much left there is, how much more I have to watch. But the short and sweet, I mess with, and this one, I know we're late to it. I think it came out 2020, 2021.
I believe it came out in 2021 or 2022, 2021. I forget what.
Recent, right?
Yeah, relative. It's a recent one.
So we're a little bit late. The same way we were late for Attack on Titan, but fantastic. I don't want to talk much because I don't want to do spoilers, but I love it. I'm a big anime head.
Do you have a favorite character?
Yes.
Are you gonna name them?
No.
Okay. Are they? You know what? Never mind.
Well, yeah, that's all we've been doing. We're gonna catch up, and then we're gonna try Chainsaw Man again. Mm-hmm. I think just try these new animes out.
Now, I don't know how to awkwardly transition into this next subject. So on my For You page, I get this account called WeebMD.
Great name.
Great name. For those who are aware of this, you already know where I'm going with this. WeebMD consists of a father-daughter duo, and they talk about anime together. They review anime, the weeb stuff.
Do they have a podcast?
They do.
I should listen to that. That's cute.
Shout out to WeebMD. They recently, the daughter rather, I don't know why, got their father to start reading Berserk.
Great choice.
And he's reading it and he is loving it. Now, her dad is really good at character analysis and he's like really media literate and he gives like really insightful things.
He's taking the time
to dissect everything.
And he's very engaged with it, which I think is really refreshing to see of like a father-daughter duo or like a parent-child. Like you're really showing interest in your kids' likes.
Yeah, it's cute. What's not cute
is Berserk.
And for people who don't know, and I will avoid spoilers, except for this one little aspect.
I'm going to avoid spoilers.
Look, there's no way to talk about it without talking about this one thing. And it's the eclipse. And that's all I'm going to say, the eclipse. If you know, you know.
I mean, the eclipse also kind of reminds me of something we're going to talk about today in Metal Gear Solid 3. Just certain themes that make me upset. But we'll talk later.
And he is getting closer and closer to the eclipse. And as of speaking, he's only like 1 or 2 chapters away. And when I tell you, TikTok is like freaking the fuck out because they're like this nice old man, this nice man who doesn't know what's about to happen, is about to have his life, his brain chemistry is about to be altered. And nobody can stop it.
I think he said, I think Guts and Griffith are going to run away together with Casca, right?
Yes.
They're going to all run away together.
Yes, he said that.
Oh, man.
And this poor old man, like, I want to reach out and say, stop. Just stop.
What do the kids say? It's a canon event?
Yes.
That's what the kids
And, like,
or maybe that's old now.
Whatever. But as somebody who just past the eclipse. I'm reading through Berserk myself, and I just got past the eclipse, and I wish I had.
I was waiting for you to get there. Remember when it started?
Kay and I had this whole like deep ass conversation about like how people are treated in media, and I'm not going to go into specifics. A, because of like trigger warnings, and B, because spoiler stuff. So
yeah.
We went on this whole deep dive on like how certain aspects in media is handled.
Yep. What certain things that we're desensitized to and other things that are just kind of the norm now. Well, not the norm, but like things that we're desensitized to and then things that are still very shocking.
Yeah.
And kind of like you said, how both things are handled.
And this...
I wish we could talk about it more in depth because it frustrates me. Mm. And like you and I spent like an hour really dissecting what happened during that and how it was depicted, and I'm curious to see this man's take.
WebMD, big fan.
WeebMD.
Sorry.
I'm a big fan of WebMD.
Oh, yeah.
My shoulder hurts. Oh,
You're dead.
This is it.
But WeebMD, big fan. Please make your dad stop.
Yeah.
Please. Fuck, man. Make him stop.
It's frustrating. Certain shows, I know, I was waiting for you to get to the eclipse. And what did I tell you? I said when you get, read the eclipse on a good day. That's all I'm going to say. But I said read it on a good day. Like, don't have a bad day at work and come home and then.
Yeah. I'm glad I listened to you. But,
because you were shook. You were really.
No, I remember reading it, and when it was done, I remember, coming to. And I was like, oh my God, my jaw's been open this whole time.
Yeah. That's how I've been feeling with Jujutsu Kaisen as well. It's just certain shows where it's almost shocking at what they'll depict.
Mm-hmm.
or what choices they'll make for characters. It's like, do you like your characters? Do you like your OCs?
I don't know. Who knows anymore? So after all of this madness, okay, what are we doing tomorrow?
For a nice change of pace from all the sadness of Berserk and Jujutsu Kaisen and my migraine that I've had for the past couple days, I still have it, but we persevere. We're going to the Renaissance Fair tomorrow.
And that should be fun.
It should be good.
I want to see some guys joust.
The jousting, I haven't been in a couple of years. Did we go? The last time we both went, was it together?
Yeah. I distinctly remember us watching jousting together.
So it's been a couple of years. Must have been 2017 or something.
I think so. I think that might it could have been 18 or 19. Anyway, it's been a while.
And we're gonna go just because one, we're nerds, and two, we also nerds. You want to buy some cloaks?
Yeah, I want to buy. I want to look like Aragorn. Like I want to have like a cool cloak with the hood. You kind
of have the hair. You look too happy to be Aragorn though. Like your face is too like I have an angrier face than you. I should be Aragorn.
Well, who should I be then?
Maybe Sam.
Man, I'd be like on the Knicks if I was Sam. like he's a 6 foot tall hobbit, Mr. Frodo. He's not even a hobbit. He's just a guy with big feet.
No, I feel like, but Sam is such a great person to be.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I want a cloak. I want to look like a cool, mysterious guy that wanders in the woods.
A cloak. The Renaissance Fair. I feel like I'm not part of that nerd sector of that community, but I'm excited to just see what's up. I feel like I don't know. It's a lot of people who are crafty. A lot of people who are into like role playing and
oh yeah, a lot of people go there and they act out a whole thing.
I wouldn't mind being on the cosplay side of it. I feel like I have yet to get back pay for my job, and part of back pay is to fund this table for our what do we call the computer room?
Yeah, the stream room, computer, the studio.
So I told Tom, once I get the back pay, then we can go and get the table. I think just to help us like save money, like we're trying to be mindful about what we spend. So like that's kind of like our next thing on the list, and it hasn't come, so I haven't been able to make any kind of costume, nothing for Halloween, nothing for Comic-Con. So I'm just like, you know what, we'll go to the Renaissance Fair, buy what we can, eat a turkey leg, hopefully my headache goes away, and we'll chill.
And every time I've gone to the Renaissance Fair, I have the same ritual where I go to the place where they sell like knight armor stuff, and I look at a knight's helm. And it's like this really, it's like a real knight helm. And I look at it, and I look at the price, and I'm like, do I want this?
I mean, you have been saving money.
I know, but here's the thing. If I buy a knight helm, I'm going to wear it once. Or maybe I'll wear it a few times on stream. And I'll be like, haha, this is funny. And then I'm going to put it on a bookshelf. And then that will be that forever.
But it'll be a well-crafted homemade essentially knight's helm.
That's true.
You see, I'm not a good influence because
if it's not a huge hit on the bank, maybe, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I really want to get like a dress, so that's probably also going to be pricey. We'll see. Hopefully this won't be our last time there. We'll go tomorrow. We'll gauge it. We'll see how we feel. But it'll be nice to be outside. It'll be nice to be outside and explore. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, Kay, do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for the pop quiz.
I knew it was coming. I'm not ready.
Well, get ready.
I'm not ready.
Get ready.
No. So, will you be asking the questions or will I?
I feel like I've been asking the questions a lot lately. So you could ask these questions if you want.
Sure. Because I am not too familiar, I would say, with this game. I feel like I'm more familiar with 2. So it'd be nice to pick your brain about things today.
Okay.
So question number 1.
Hit me.
Question number 1. What was the plane that Snake rode in on at the beginning of Operation Snake Eater?
Well, to the listeners that are here, I gave like a huge ass tangent on the plane that Snake rode in on.
So you hope I listened?
I hoped you all listened. I worked really hard on that research because Snake rode in on the M21.
You are correct.
Thank you.
Tom's like, please take the time to appreciate me.
I researched that for you guys. I hope you're all.
People appreciate you and the hard work you put in.
Thank you.
You edit this podcast.
I do.
You put hours into this.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Question number 2.
Oh, okay.
What was the password that Snake was supposed to say to Adam?
The password, and it's kind of cute if you played too, was "Who are the Patriots?" and "Lolly Lulelo."
Correct. So Snake was supposed to ask Adam, who are the Patriots?
Yes, and Adam was supposed to say "Lolly Lulelo." That was so they know that this is the person I'm supposed to meet.
Again, I stand by it. If you see some rando in that part of, was it Selenoyarsk or Russia they were at?
Yeah.
Who else would it be but Adam?
You never know.
I'm just saying, the odds. But I guess you gotta be safe and have your little codes.
I mean, he did run into Eva.
That is true, but she wound up being part of it too.
Yeah, okay.
Question number 3. Why did Major Zero call himself Major Tom at first?
You see, Major Zero is a very big film nerd. He liked this film called The Great Escape. And in it, there were 3 tunnels that they constructed. They were called Dick.
Whoa.
Huh?
Well, why were the tunnels created?
I was going to get to that.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Sorry. They crafted 3 tunnels called Dick, Harry, and Tom. And they were going to escape through these tunnels from a Nazi POW camp.
So these are Americans.
It was American, British soldiers. It was actually British soldiers in real life, and it was an American-made studio. They were like, "Oh, we gotta have some Americans in here." So anyway, that's a tangent. He called himself Tom because he thought that was the name of the tunnel that they escaped in, but it wasn't. That tunnel was found out. They actually escaped from a tunnel that was called Harry.
Correct.
Thank you, because I went on a tangent on that. That would be embarrassing if I was wrong.
Anyway, The Great Escape is actually a fun movie it's an old-timey flick, right? It was made in...
Yeah, I'm going to sound like a ancient old man, but I actually own that movie. On DVD, I own it.
Hey, physical media is where it's at. It's pretty good. It's worth a watch.
Yeah,
just for that one reference in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, that's the reason why I bought it, because I'm a dork.
Deadass?
Deadass.
You are such a fucking nerd.
I bought that movie because...
You are, for one sentence in the game...
Okay, hear me out.
I didn't know that.
It happened to
what
be...
a Kojima
It happened to be on the shelf in the store.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's that game that... And it was on sale. It only cost me like $10. Anyway.
What a Kojima head. Wow.
Okay.
Question number 4. Did President Johnson call Khrushchev, or did Khrushchev call President Johnson after the nuke was launched by Bogan?
Khrushchev called President Johnson.
Which makes sense, because I can imagine something going off in your country. You're like, hello? I mean, and Khrushchev now he's kind of in the right now.
He is.
Kind of has Johnson by the balls. Those big. Question number 5. True or false? Eva worked for the CIA as a codebreaker.
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
Ooh.
Whoever wrote this question,
I know, me.
Probably thought they were real clever.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. Eva did not work for the CIA as a codebreaker. She worked for the NSA as a codebreaker.
Correct.
Oh, thank you so much.
That concludes the questions. Great questions, T. Thank you for writing them up. I did not actually contribute to that, so thank you.
What do you mean you wrote them? What do you mean? These are questions that I wrote?
On to the episode. So in the last episode, we saw Eva talking to a mysterious... Well, we don't even know who. We didn't hear any audio.
It was just a mysterious person on the other end of this radio.
That she was hiding her, suitcase? It's this really big contraption.
It's gigantic.
I don't know how she hid that from Snake. But maybe Snake wasn't really concerned with what she was carrying, or maybe it was just part of like.
Maybe that's why she unzipped herself so far.
It was in the soup.
No, like maybe like if she unzipped herself and was carrying this gigantic suitcase, Snake wouldn't be looking at the gigantic suitcase.
Which is funny because in this episode we're starting off with Snake waking up, and what does he see as soon as he opens his eyes? Eva getting dressed. I guess she like sleeps in her underwear and I don't know what, like her swimsuit.
I don't know.
She's undressing, and you can press R1 if you wanna. I mean, she's getting dressed.
Yeah, I was
sorry.
Actually, she's dressing.
She's getting dressed, and you can press R1 and sneak a peek like Snake. Well, he's already sneaking a peek, but you can view with him.
Yeah, you can see what he's seeing.
And he's quiet until he peeks out the window and he notices Ocelot unit soldiers surrounding the place. There's a multitude of them. And among them...
Ocelot himself.
So no time for oogling, looking at her. They gotta get going.
Well, maybe one little quick bit more of oogling. There's one more opportunity.
One more opportunity.
One quick moment. But, there's stuff to do.
Yes.
So... Snake and Eva split up. Now, Snake is tasked with taking care of this Ocelot unit to clear away.
Because she's like, I need to leave. I need to escape. So
yeah,
he's like, I'll distract the soldiers. You can go ahead.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. So, Snake is tasked with taking out the Ocelot unit. Now, he took out the whole unit before. This time, what's different? It's up to you, the player, to take out the Ocelot unit.
So you can be like T and really skillfully take them out. You go in the basement, you go under the house, as I call it, and sneak around and shoot them from there. Or you can be like me and hide for 30 minutes under the house and cue up an animation that T has never seen in his life.
Wait, what was it again?
So when I first played this level, I hid under the house so much because I hated it and I was so scared. I hate being sneaky, but I love Metal Gear Solid. But I hid in the house for so long and I was shooting people from the little gap in the basement that eventually a soldier went and peeked under through the little gap.
Oh, I remember now.
The soldier peeked under to look at me.
Yeah, I didn't know they could do that.
Because I was the only one who took so long to get that animation. I triggered a whole new animation that T's never seen. But unlike me, I know all of you are skilled and all of you are fantastic. So you never got that animation. And this moment it's not a long little, not even a battle. So this little moment takes what, a few minutes?
It takes a few minutes if you know what you're doing.
I think there's like 6 of them, right?
Yeah, and even if you don't know what you're doing, it's not like other alert phases in Metal Gear where the guards keep coming.
Yeah.
Like there's a limited number. So you take down, was it 7, 8 of them? I think 7. Wait, there was... My gut says 7. Future Tom... I'm sorry.
Wow, you're going to spread misinformation on this podcast?
No, I say my gut, okay? I don't have the game in front of me.
What's the percentage that we're right? What is it?
80%.
80% of the time, we're right.
I'm a fake fan. It was 8. I'm sorry, guys.
So you get through them and you're like, cool, great. But you don't clear out Ocelot in that moment. So where is he?
He's just hanging out. I don't know. You never see him. So Snake clears out this whole unit. One way or another, you could either, good or bad, you do it. It triggers a cutscene. Snake hears a shot. He's like, oh. And he hears some more shots. In total, he hears 6 shots.
Okay.
And Snake's like, oh, this is what's going on here. And he moseys on over. Well, I say mosey. He's cautiously going over. And he sees Ocelot holding Eva hostage.
He has something to her throat. Was it a knife or a gun?
He's got a knife. And he's holding her at knife point and gun point because he wants her doubly dead.
And he's looking at Snake. And before he says anything to Snake, doesn't he, grope her?
Well, I don't know if it's before or after he says anything to Snake, but yeah, he does grope her.
He realizes he gropes her. He's like, oh, it's a woman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to condone groping. I do not. Not at all.
That's a hell of a sentence.
It is a hell of a sentence. But I feel like in this instance, maybe it wasn't on purpose. He seemed to be surprised that it was a woman.
Oh, maybe he grabbed her by the chest and felt.
Yeah. Now, I don't condone it.
Yeah, I didn't know where you were going with that.
TKM does not condone groping in any way, shape, or form, okay? I'm just saying. Anyway.
You think he brushed against the boobie by mistake and was like, oh.
Well, it wasn't a brush. He definitely did grab.
You know what? But he grabbed it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Maybe he meant to, like, grab the chest, but maybe by grabbing the chest, he grabbed the boobie.
Why was he grabbing the chest?
To keep them secure. I don't know, man. Look, I'm not defending. I'm not an ocelot defender. I'm not a groping defender. I'm just saying.
I mean, what's also not helped is that he takes a couple sniffs afterwards, and he goes,
"This bitch is wearing perfume."
Yeah, that's not helping his case.
He just... I don't want to sound like, oh, Crystal the prude, whatever, but Ocelot sucks in this moment. Gonna grope someone and then be mad she's wearing perfume. So what?
What? She's allowed. So... Snake is in his CQC stance, right? Mm-hmm. And Ocelot nerds out. He's like, "That's it. That's the stance. That's what." He's such a nerd. He's so obsessed.
I feel like he's really interested in Snake as like a soldier. Like they're obviously on opposite ends, but he looks at him. He's like, "That's the guy. That's the man right there. I want to see you at your best.
I want to. This is the man that will make me better. You know, that sort of thing." Mm-hmm. And Snake looks at the gun that Ocelot is using in this moment, and he's like, "So, I see you upgraded your gun." Because, you know, the last time they mentioned this whole gunplay thing, Snake said that the way that he uses a gun is like a revolver technique. So he upgrades to a revolver.
He listened.
He listened to it. He listened to his senpai. And this gun is a very pretty gun. It's got a lot.
It's like engraved, right?
It's got a lot of pretty engravings. It looks like pristine, something that you'd see in like a museum or something.
Yeah, I feel like a collector's item, and I feel like he wanted Snake to like look at it.
Yeah, he's like, "Look at my shiny new toy, Snake.
See, remember you said a revolver?
I got a revolver." And Snake,
he doesn't care.
He doesn't care at all. In fact, he mocks Ocelot for even using this kind of revolver because he's like, the engravings give you no tactical advantage whatsoever unless you're planning on auctioning it off. And Ocelot is just like,
also, Snake is so confident because at that point, Eva's still there at knife and gunpoint.
Yeah.
So Snake is dissing the shit out of him. He knows he's not going to kill him or Eva.
Snake is like, and you're forgetting one very basic thing. And Ocelot is intrigued. And he's like, huh? And he's like, you don't have what it takes to kill me. And Ocelot...
He said, you a pussy. He said, you ain't gonna do it. Try something.
And Ocelot tries.
To his credit, I will say, he does try to shoot him, but he's out of bullets.
He tries to shoot this gun, and it's out of bullets.
And doesn't he keep him like...
He does.
He keeps pressing the trigger?
Yep.
And nothing comes out.
Eva takes this opportunity, kicks him dead in the face.
And he falls off that little platform they're on.
Yeah. Eva somersaults off, lands on her motorcycle, which is conveniently parked.
And she lands on that shit perfectly.
I don't know how she, like... That would bruise me. I don't know how she's handling that. Then she... Like Evel Knievel or something. Like some crazy circus freak. She uses this bike to uppercut. Like she like...
Yeah, that's a great word, uppercut. She lifts the front tire to hit Ocelot in the face with the tire.
Yeah, and like she almost like rides up on top of Ocelot and does a flip on him. So she hits him with both tires.
Do you know how hard that must have... If you're in New York and like you've been in New York during the summer, you've seen those kids in like Harlem in the city that ride down.
They ride on like the dirt bikes and stuff. Yeah.
Down the street in the summer, and she was doing that. She was just doing all these tricks. She was doing all these flips
on some heavy ass bike
and on top of Ocelot. And doesn't he? She does that, and he has a tire mark right on the middle of his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can just eat that too.
Then Snake comes over, and then he more or less is like, so I bet you're wondering how you ended up here, huh? He's like, Asa, come here. You fired 6 shots. Do you know how many bullets a revolver holds? Take a wild guess. It's 6 shots.
And Ocelot says nothing. He just lays there. He eats that.
Like a bitch. So then Ocelot makes like Team Rocket and runs away.
I feel like you can. The way he runs, I feel the sniffles. Like I hear the sniffles from the distance. He runs so like the arms are up, like he is running for his life, and he's like crying while he's doing it.
Eva goes and takes out her gun, and she tries to end Ocelot right here and now. And Snake like stops her, and he's like, "Wait, no, he's still young. Like that matters."
What are we doing? This is.
I don't know. I think
he likes him.
I think that there's like some sort of weird dynamic going on with Snake and Ocelot.
I think what it is, and it's sad, I think they do like each other. They're just on opposite sides.
Yeah.
I really do think that's what it is. There's a kinship with, I think, it's kind of like when you're in the army, you have your brethren, and I've never been in the army, but I can imagine the community, the camaraderie, and I guess that they can sense it from each other.
You think he sees him as like a little brother?
I think he sees him as like a brother. Like, this is if we weren't fighting, we would both be soldiers together.
Mm-hmm.
Naked in the mud. Like, we would both be...
naked in the mud.
I'm just thinking,
Yeah,
maybe...
Grappling.
and...
It gets so...
It's a family podcast.
It gets so hot and bothered.
I think that's what it is.
CQ seeing it up.
I mean, he was going, that's the stance.
Down and dirty.
Oh my God. I think, though, they would be... That's that kind of sentiment. They both respect, I guess...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, war. They both like it. They
like the mud.
Okay. Anyway, like you said, Eva goes to shoot him. Snake stops her. And then she states, I have to get back before he does. And just runs. Well, not runs. She's the motorcycle. She drives away.
Yeah. Okay. Now, to those who haven't played this game, she drives up like a flight of stairs that's on the outside.
Yeah, when I say drive away, it was more theatrical than that.
She goes up a flight of stairs, jumps over the roof of like the house, the little house structure where Snake and Eva spent the night, lands it, and breaks through her fence. Now,
she must have drove past Ocelot while he was running and crying.
She must have.
Maybe she hit him again.
Maybe just slapped him on the back of the head. Like as he was running, as he was running, she just rode past him and was like
down,
like sucker.
I guess because if she has to get back before he does, I think knocking him out again would have been the best move. How? Anyway, but yeah, she did some really sick moves, and she's that motorcycle. She's nice with it. Mm-hmm. She's very nice with it. Just classic femme fatale, right? That's the phrase.
Conveniently, this opens up a path for Snake to go down. So Snake makes his way up, and past the Virtuous mission, this is like our first like new area of the game.
It opens up into this. You're playing in the jungle again.
Yeah.
So in like the Virtuous mission, like you traversed and went through and went to the bridge. This time you're like deep in the jungle.
You're crossing like a lake full of alligators or crocodiles. I don't know which one, but crocodiles. And you're covered in leeches.
You know why we say that, right?
Why?
The Jersey Shore. That's what Snooki called her little teddy bear.
Are you serious?
That's why we say. That's why you and I say crocodile.
That's a Jersey Shore reference.
That's. Sorry, I just wanted you to know that.
I never knew that.
Well, I mean, maybe she gets it from somewhere.
I mean, you said that, and I thought it was cute, so I started saying
it's from Snooki.
Thanks, Snooki.
Okay, sorry. You should send this episode to her. I bet she'd like Metal Gear.
Maybe.
I think she would. Okay.
So, you're swimming past all these crocodiles in the water. You're getting covered in leeches.
Oh.
This prompts you to you open up your cure menu, get all those leeches off you, burn them off with a cigar.
The cure menu is actually really in depth. I mean, you go from like bandaging yourself up to like burning the leeches to putting ointment and like it's
and it's not only like physical injuries like that. There's also like injuries like food poisoning. Like, because while you're traversing the jungle, you have to like find and hunt for food. So you could find like fruit or crocodiles
Or snakes.
or snakes or fish
when
or plants
if you call paramedic
or
before,
birds. I'm
if-
sorry.
if you call a paramedic before you eat something, will she tell you if it's poisonous or not?
She does. She tells you all about like the animals that you're surrounded with. You don't have to like even hunt for them for her to tell you information. She's like, "Oh, that area is home of such and such."
Yeah, no, to add on to that,
Mhm.
for people who are like, you are starting to play Metal Gear Solid 3, take the time to call people at any given moment. You've told me, like, growing up when you were playing these games, you call them repeatedly until they started repeating information.
Yeah, I mean, I would have like a session where I would just like listen to codec calls. It was like listening to like a podcast before I knew what podcasts were.
The voice actors really give such great performances. I think too sometimes some codec calls are like little jokes.
Mm-hmm.
They have little conversations
God.
where they
No,
argue.
There's another one that involves a glowing mushroom that we'll get to later. It's hilarious.
But it's honestly, I would say if you're new, like take your time to listen to it because it's really fun. It's honestly fun to hear about everything.
Yeah, I mean, like you hear about everyone's fun little 60s era movies that they all like.
Yeah, every time you save, isn't paramedic like, have you ever seen?
Oh yeah, have you ever seen Godzilla? Have you ever seen The Black Lagoon?
I feel like every time you save, she mentions a movie, doesn't she?
Almost every time, yeah. If you call Sigint while you're inside of a cardboard box, you get like a funny little moment between him and Sigint where Snake is like, I don't know, I feel safe when I'm in the box. And Sigint is like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Sagan to me seems like the most normal person.
Yeah, he is really normal. He's just a guy.
Super, super cute. But yeah, sorry, you traverse and you like have to, again, it's kind of like a OSP again, on-site, right? On-site procurement?
Yeah, on-site procurement, only also, aside from weapons, it's food.
Food as well.
So you make your way through this lake. There's an optional item that you can get, which is like an alligator hat, which is like really cool.
Is it so that the alligators won't fight you? Or is it for...
I don't know. It's for fashion. So you get through the this like water lake area. You then come through to a minefield.
Oh.
You make your way through the minefield.
How do you get to the minefield? Is it kind of like in Metal Gear Solid 1 where you have to crawl over them?
What's kind of neat is both in 1 and 2, they're invisible. And it's revealed that they're invisible because they're all cloaked with like these like stealth camo little things, you know? So they're invisible to the naked eye. But since they technically don't exist, at least on a wide scale, yet, you could see them. So it's kind of easier in that way. But you are given a handicap because you don't have like the Soliton radar like you did before.
So you just have to literally crawl.
You have to crawl. You have to use your thermals. If you don't have the thermals, you just got to use your eyes. Just navigate this field. You get through that, and you reach your first little installment of like a guard outpost.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting here is like when you're traversing, right? You start off in the lake, no guards. Then you end up in a minefield with like 3-4 guards in it. Then you end up in like this base. So it's like
warming you up?
It's like you're traversing through nature, and nature is your only obstacle. Then you go through a little bit more of an area, and it's like a little bit more. Then you hit up the main event, so to speak.
Okay.
And it's not like a gigantic thing. It's more like a little outpost, but it has like a pretty decently sized house. You can get some camo or some food or whatever. You cannot even go there at all. It's optional.
It's optional.
It's completely. You don't have to go there at all.
They really wanted you to explore.
Yeah, no, this game, it's a lot different from 1 and 2. Because like in 1, you almost had to explore the whole complex. In 2, it's as wide as it is, it's actually fairly linear. But 3, I feel like it really opens up to the player. And
it's definitely not open world, but like you said, there's optional areas.
yeah, there's optional areas that you can go to, and it really invites the player to like get into every little nook, every little cranny, and get as much items as you can get to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So you either do or don't go through this little area, and then you head up to this like crevice.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're making your way to this crevice, you want to know who sees you again?
Who?
It's our favorite little guy,
Aslan?
Ocelot, again. And this time, he shows that he got rid of his fancy little revolver and he followed Papa Snake's advice and got the real revolver with no engraving, just a blank whatever.
He went to some random soldiers like, give me that.
Give me that revolver. I got to do something to my friend. In fact, he went up to the next soldier behind him and did the same thing because this time he's got 2 revolvers.
Describe to me the environment, though. I don't think we understand the gravity of like the stage that Ocelot's on.
Okay, so it's obvious that Ocelot's a drama queen and set this whole thing up. Because between Snake and Ocelot, there's like a canyon. It looks like there's like a canyon between the both of them.
Yeah, like you peek over and it's just a stream.
There's like tumbleweeds going by every now and then. It's incredibly corny, very dramatic. And Ocelot does his famous meow and calls in his posse to seal off the exit. So Snake is forced to fight Ocelot here and now.
And it's funny, he calls them in just to not have them fight with him.
Yeah, just a block.
Just a block.
Like, that's it. And he's like, it's just you and me. No one to get in our way.
Yeah.
And he's like obsessed. So he proceeds to do this little trick show.
The circus trick of like, what is it, flipping, like juggling.
He's revolving the revolvers, so to speak.
Okay.
And he's flipping them, he's catching them, he's twisting them, he's pulling them, he's doing all.
It's a bopping.
Yeah, like it's a bop it, he's just flipping it around, he's twisting it, and then he catches him, and he's like 12 shots.
12 shots.
Ooh, okay, so
This time, I got 12 shots.
What is cool, we'll post it on Instagram, but it's that like this, we have like the video of the guy doing it, right? Like,
Yeah.
who they motion captured?
Yeah, they actually motion cap that. Like, there's a guy, I forget his name, and I'm so sorry to the guy who did it. We'll be sure to credit you in Instagram. But they motion capped this guy that actually did it.
He actually flipped the...
He did it. Like, I genuinely thought that, like of course, it's possible, but I didn't think that they went through the trouble to actually do it.
I think because it's so theatrical and silly.
Yeah.
But then you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a skill. I mean, man, Ocelot took the time. Like, the first time they met, dissed. Second time met, dissed. And now this time, he's showing off. He really feels he's learned, he's lived, he's elevated.
Ocelot, I could definitely tell, is the kind of guy that like practices his speech in the mirror.
Honestly, practicing a speech beforehand, I would say it's great. I do it. I practice stuff before someone picks up the phone. It's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he takes it to another level.
Mm-hmm.
It's very apparent he wants to impress Snake. They're not fighting to kill. Maybe Snake is, but he's fighting to impress.
Yeah. I think that, Ocelot is probably under orders to kill Snake, but
He doesn't want to.
this isn't like your average. It's more of like a rivalry.
Mhm.
It's anyway. The fight begins.
Yeah, this is a boss fight, and it's a game of hide and seek in my eyes.
Yeah, it's a game of hide and seek. You could use the environment. You could shoot, beehives down on Ocelot. He doesn't like that. He calls you a coward.
We're the cowards.
Yeah,
but he's fighting across the cavern.
He wants you to fight a certain way.
God, okay.
So if you fight like a man,
Yeah.
you can impress him. You can impress your little brother.
Yeah.
He gets into like these little things of like reloading his gun for the first time. He's like, "Whoa, this is so good. Reloading during a battle, it's so nice. so great. It's so cool.
That always made me laugh because to me that's such a stupid audio cue for you to like get a free shot.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
I love reloading during a battle. Like what?
And Snake is just, man, shut up. Bang.
I mean, for me, it's helpful because I, of
Mhm.
course, struggled, but that's so funny to me. Yeah, Ocelot is really, this is a thrill to him.
Yeah. Well, what's kind of cool about this fight is that when the fight begins, it is a lot easier to fight Ocelot.
Mm-hmm.
As the fight goes on, he gets better.
Okay.
Like he's better at firing off shots in rapid succession. He could bounce bullets off of like rocks and shit to hit you from behind
like
cover.
your ricochets?
Yeah. And it really highlights how talented Ocelot is as a soldier,
Mm-hmm.
where he's actually able to not match Snake, but like
he adapts.
yeah. But of course, Snake being Snake, he just kind of slaps Ocelot into place, you know?
I think that also goes to show, as a soldier, not only was he listening to Snake, it's part of just him getting better as a warrior, as a soldier. He's adjusting as the battle goes on. So I think it just shows just how adept he is.
Mm-hmm. Now, as the fight winds down, the player might notice that there's like bees coming into the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly out of nowhere, there's just bees.
Okay. They just like start flying around.
Yeah. So when the fight winds down, we're greeted to this cutscene,
Mm-hmm.
and no one's defeated yet. It just kind of looks like Snake and Ocelot are ready to go for round
You're
two.
right, like they're ready to
Just roll around in the mud again. You know? Just get hot. Anyway, bees happen.
bees.
Just a lot of bees.
Okay.
And when I mean a lot of bees,
Like
I'm
a
talking
swarm. We're not talking about a little
those swarms.
more than a hive full.
I would like. I'm not even
Like what's the thing in the Bible? The
a plague.
yeah, like the locusts come, like all that. It was that amount of bees, I would say.
Yeah, it like. Honest to God, I think there probably was like 2,000 bees. Like seriously.
That's how one bug feels to me. That whole scene is just a swarm of them. And the swarm winds up killing all of Ocelot's men. And we get visuals of like their faces all ballooned up with bites.
Oh, it's rough.
Ocelot starts swinging his guns and is killing all the bees that come near him.
Which is so silly to look at. He's twirling his guns.
He doesn't look concerned though.
And bees are, because like it looks like he's done this before, which is ridiculous because like this is the first time he must have done this, but he's so cool and calm doing this.
You know who's not cool and calm?
Snake. No, Snake is trying to fight them with a knife. He's just like, hornets! Ah!
Oh,
Snake-
hornets are different than bees.
Well, yeah.
That's a big. Bees are, I would say, a little bit more friendlier. Hornets and wasps, they just fight to like they sting to sting.
Mm-hmm.
Bees will leave you alone.
Well, okay.
These are hornets. Okay, I forgot about that. But Snake is obviously very scared.
Yeah. So much so that to take cover, he jumps into the canyon. Now, granted, Eva said to descend into this canyon in an earlier cutscene, but Snake doesn't just like calmly try to climb down. He jumps into pure darkness.
I feel like he didn't even know how deep it was.
No, I felt like he was like, if death happens, so be it.
Let it be by my terms and not these bees.
So he jumps into like pure darkness to escape them. You're greeted, and when I first played this game, I was like, what? Your screen looks literally black.
Yeah, it's pitch black. You see the little title screen of like where you are, right?
Yeah, so like you know that like, oh no, my TV's not off.
It's working. It's just a dark ass cave.
And I feel like Kojima at this point was just like, deal with it. And then he just walks away.
That's what it felt like to me. How long was I stuck there when I first played? Oh my, it's you, because you're tasked with, I guess, like just feeling your way around, right?
Yeah, you're.
There's no other way to get through it until you find like
It's one of those things that I feel like really highlights a portion of the game, and it's to like adapt. and you're forced into creative ways of thinking of using your equipment. I mean, you get chastised by Major Zero by thinking like oh, I wish I had a flashlight. I should have brought one with me. And Major Zero is like, you don't need a flashlight. Americans use they're too reliant on ready-made equipment, and then he chastises you for this. And Snake is just like, man, I just want.
I'm the one in the dark right now.
It's like, yo, I just want a flashlight, bro.
If you shoot a gun, will it like lighten the space for a minute?
You know, it's been a while. I'm not 100% sure on that one. What I do know is that you could use your thermals to
Oh,
count.
that's smart.
But like, it doesn't really help too much. But you could see where
Animals are?
animals are in the area, and it kind of helps get your bearings a little bit. You could use your cigar
For a little light.
for a little bit of light. It's not a lot, but it could be just enough.
That's kind of cool. It's forcing you to think or suffer. I suffered. I just walked around and hoped for the best. I honestly maybe just waited for you to come home to help me.
If you have a couple of stun grenades, that actually kind of helps. It makes like a flash.
So you can see. How did you get through it the first time? Do you remember?
I think I just used my my cigar the whole time, which honestly was probably the dumbest way.
Why?
Because it's the most obvious. And so I feel like since it's the most obvious, it gives off the least amount of light.
Oh, I think they're so smart.
And it forced me to like stick with the most. I had to stick with the walls the whole time. And if you stick with the walls, it's easy to make a wrong turn and get lost somewhere.
That's the funny part about this. There's little like dead end areas, aren't there?
Yeah, they're it's not a linear place. You can just get lost. And but if you're lucky enough, there's a torch you could find. You can actually get night vision goggles in this area.
Oh, really?
They're hard to find though, but it's possible.
Okay, but there's stuff hidden if you.
There's stuff hidden. There are treasures. And you know, this is one of those areas, especially for like new players. I feel like it's like one of those bullshit areas. But like, I feel like it's like one of those things where it forces people who play Metal Gear Solid 3 to be like this is part of like the theme of the game right here.
To me, it just kind of feels like a story beat. You went through the jungle, you had this theatrical boss battle, and you escaped into some cavern. And you're going through the story of this man trying to go back and find his mentor. And so it to me, it feels like a movie beat.
Yeah.
You know, you escaped the baddie and now you're recovering in this cavern.
You just get some time to chill out in a cave.
Honestly, yes, to chill out because there's no enemies in here.
No.
You're literally given a moment of brevity, of peace.
So as you're making your way through this cave, you come out to a well-lit area. Now you're still inside, but there's kind of like a hole in the roof, so to speak, and you could see finally. It's like
It's a nicely well lit from the sun area.
yeah. There's some water. There's like a stone island in the middle, and it looks nice. It's very scenic, or it would have been if bees didn't happen, or should I say hornets.
The hornet swarm is back.
The hornet swarm is here.
And not only are they back,
You're greeted with a man who calls himself
the
Pain. And this.
do you think he's called the Pain because he causes pain or he's in pain?
That's a great question. Now,
Many questions.
the boss says that these are emotions that they carry into battle.
Because he's part of the Cobra unit.
Yeah.
Cobra unit.
Yes, he's part of the Cobra unit.
Oh, so he brings in pain to the battle.
So,
He's in pain.
is it that he feels pain or that he brings the pain?
So, if he's bringing in pain, I feel like he's bringing in the pain he's in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Like, I've got stung by so many bees, and
What?
I'm gonna make sure.
Why the bees? Not the bees.
Yeah, why? I want to see the pains.
We're giving a bad name to bees. They're hornets, aren't they, or wasps?
They're like a mix
Or are
because
they
like
bees?
he actually has these attacks called bullet bees, which he shoots from his mouth, and they
Yuck.
burrow into your skin.
Yuck.
He's gonna make bullet bees. He talks like
Okay.
a Saturday morning cartoon villain.
So we're not giving bees a bad name. It's actually bullet bees.
Yes.
Are those the homing ones?
Yes, and they sound like like bombers or something.
So he has hornets, and then so all the insects,
All the stinging.
the stinging insects. Okay, sorry. And yeah, this is another boss fight. And as opposed to you fighting Ocelot with the guns and kind of no, neither of them are really normal, were they?
Well, Ocelot's fairly normal. He's just very theatrical. This guy, he summons a Tommy gun through bees. He could teleport.
Wait, don't the bees carry the gun over to him?
No, the bees form themselves into the gun, and then the gun just appears.
Oh, that's sick.
And then
It's the power of his stand.
he covers himself with bees, and it makes bulletproof armor. Which explain that to me.
And so you're tasked with fighting him in this cavern.
Yeah. And you just have to navigate the bees.
You've recently been trying to speedrun this game, and the thing holding you back is the boss battles. But I feel like you recently got him under lock.
Yeah, the trick is like especially if you're going for like a non-lethal route, you got to find like a rhythm using like the smoke grenades, and then you got to like hit him with like the trank gun to the head.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to find my rhythm, but like I
think
know
you did pretty good. Sorry, I'm viewing it from the outside. I know how you feel.
I got to get my rhythm right.
I hear you.
But as I said with smoke grenades, because if you think about it, like in real life, when
we have a smoke grenade.
well, not just smoke grenades, but like when people harvest like honey and stuff, right? They like have like this little like gun that shoots smoke, and smoke makes the bees kind of like sleep and calm down.
Oh, true. Yes.
So if you throw a smoke grenade, it makes the bees leave the pain, and it leaves him open for attacks.
I see. Okay.
So you have to navigate this boss fight. There are little decoys of himself that the pain makes for you. Like there are human-sized bee figures
That you shoot and then
that you shoot, and they're not actually the pain. You have to you could use your thermal goggles to see which one's the real one.
Oh my god.
It's ridiculous.
You could jump in the water and hide from like the homing bees.
Yeah. He throws like bug juice on you to make the bees attracted to you so that they sting you. This is the most weirdest boss fight I've ever and this is like of all the Metal Gear Solid games, for some reason the pain is the one that makes me go like, really?
Really?
Yeah. And it's not like it takes me out of the game. It's just that there's something about just a man that is covered in bees and can control bees.
There's a lot of other bosses in this game that are really silly.
Well, I'm just saying
Is it the bees really take it's just weird?
no, I'm not saying that it takes me out of it and that it's it's too weird for me. I just feel like of all the Metal Gear Solid bosses, not only in this game but just in general, he's one. I don't know if he's the top one, but he's definitely on the list of okay.
I personally just don't like this battle. To me, I just have a really hard time with it. If you don't get that rhythm, it really drags on.
It can. Yeah, it can drag on. But luckily they're generous with there's ammo that spawns, there's grenades that spawn. So if it drags out,
if you're like me, there's the hope is there.
You could persevere. And you know who else persevered? Snake himself.
Yay!
He perseveres and he defeats the pain. And as the pain is dying, he goes, the pain. I feel it. The pain. And he falls down.
And this man explodes.
Just explodes everywhere.
So
Like there was like a bomb in him, and it just
that's what I feel. There must be a bomb that I guess that's his last resort. If he gets defeated, it's like, haha, I win. And
boom.
but he was nowhere close to Snake.
No, not really.
So
It was just like
for naught.
yeah, I don't know why he did that.
And
So Snake is perplexed, but he's like, whatever.
the bees are gone.
The bees are gone at
The
least.
hornets, the wasps.
So he moves on, and he's navigating this cave. Now, I bet some people thought that I forgot about this, but I did not. Throughout this cave system, there are these glowing mushrooms that are like scattered about, and you could harvest them. When you call a paramedic about it, she talks about how these mushrooms are like these like bioluminescent mushrooms. They give off like a glowing sensation.
Isn't it the same bioluminescence that's in the waters in Puerto Rico?
I am unsure,
I thought it was. Okay.
but maybe it is. It's probably the same properties.
So, side note, there's this, my God, how can I forget what it's called? But in Puerto Rico, there is a place called the Bioluminescent Bay. And there's specific algae that when you interact with it, they glow. So you can go at night and go on a tour and you can kayak through these lakes that have the bioluminescent algae. And you just paddle and it glows under you. And it is gorgeous.
it was up in Fajardo, right?
Yeah, they have one in Fajardo and they have one in Vieques. So Fajardo's on the furthest east on the island, and Vieques is a smaller island off of the mainland of Puerto Rico, where my family's from. If you have the chance to go, I highly recommend it. We went years ago, and it's you can't really capture it by video or photo.
It's really cool. It looks like a movie special effect in real life. Like that's the only way I could really explain it.
So these, I don't know if it's again the same algae or whatever conditions that are in these mushrooms, but they're bioluminescent mushrooms.
Yeah, and Snake, I don't know why.
He is the way he is.
He comes up with the bright idea that if he eats this mushroom, that'll recharge his batteries. Because in this game, you have batteries that run your thermal goggles, your night vision goggles, all that shit. And paramedic's like, no, that's not gonna work.
He's like, why wouldn't it work?
Why wouldn't it work?
I can eat them and it'll recharge it. She's like, okay, yeah, go ahead, try.
And he does, and it actually recharged his batteries. So
like, there's an option to call her back and be like, look, it did it.
yeah, and Snake's like, yo, my batteries are recharged. I did it. And paramedic is like silent for a minute. And she's like, Snake, can you hold on a second? Hold on a second. And you could hear her talk to Sigint in the background. And she's like, is he going crazy? What's going on? And then like you hear Sigint go like, well, you know how gullible he is. He's probably making it up. It's all in his mind. And they're like, should we be worried? Is he? And then they like come to the conclusion that it's at worst it's a harmless placebo effect. So we're just gonna let it be.
So she comes back on the mic and she's like, yeah, wow, that's great. Good, I'm glad it worked out, right? She's just like,
yeah, if you eat this mushroom, it will totally recharge your batteries.
He's like, I knew it. Great.
And
but it really does in the game, though.
it really does. So whether it is a placebo effect in Snake's mind,
but
it actually is happening.
How is it a placebo effect if it actually affects?
Because we're seeing it through Snake's perspective.
Oh, so it quote unquote lasts longer too.
Yeah.
He's the greatest soldier out here.
And it's one of these things about Metal Gear Solid 3 that is almost kind of cute. Like it's just fun, like your support team is this quirky group of people that are like, are you all really professionals?
I mean, there's humor in it, right? Because if we think about Metal Gear Solid 1, moments of humor, maybe a couple moments, but Solid Snake was very serious and very sad,
Yeah.
very angry.
And in 2, he was the same way. I mean, he was finding his way into, but he was still like serious.
And Raiden was our poor boy was tormented the entirety of the game.
Mhm.
So there were moments where I think there were moments of fun, but
Oh yeah.
I barely remember them compared to this game.
Yeah. And this particular version of Snake, this iteration, Naked Snake is such a I can't explain on how much of like a simpleton he is.
This is the sign of, I'm telling you, we made a whole video on this. I'm telling you, he didn't go to school. I don't think so. I think he went straight from like preteen to the army. Cause there's something missing in his education.
Because like there are aspects of him where he is clearly very intelligent. He could speak Russian like a native. He is a very capable and intelligent man.
Soldier.
Yet at the same time, he thinks that these mushrooms revitalizes his batteries.
Separately, doesn't he also believe in Santa Claus?
He does. He does believe in Santa Claus.
There's a separate codec conversation. It might be later on in the game, but he's talking about the what is it like the when they track Santa?
How NORAD tracks Santa, which actually is true.
What's true?
NORAD tracks Santa.
Yeah.
They do.
They did.
I swear. Okay, podcast hat off right now. They actually do.
They track Santa.
They do.
Santa Claus, because he's real.
Look it up right now.
I know. I know that website because I went on it before.
Okay.
So Snake talks about them tracking Santa, and
because Santa's real.
He believes he's real.
But why would NORAD lie?
Why would the internet lie?
Anyway, Snake makes it through this cave system finally, and he ends up in a riverbed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's being patrolled by what seems to be like these flying platforms.
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. Looks like flying little scooters,
They look like
like if you're on like one of those motorized scooters, but this one's floating.
Yeah. And they're just like hovering in the sky, just monitoring the area. Now, I want to say that this was based off of a real thing, but I'll future Tom this. Okay, so I am amazed once again. I can't find any Russian counterparts, but the US developed a flying platform called the Hiller VZ-1 Pawnee. It's impressive. I mean, it's a flying platform, but there's another version that was built later on in the 1970s called the Williams X-Jet, and it's also called the Wasp. Now, if you look up Williams X-Jet, this looks like what they were flying. And there's footage of it actually flying. It's incredible. I am amazed by the ingenuity, and I am saddened that we can't do it today. Because I think that building stupid shit like this, that should be the standard. I want more dumb things in this world. Remember that crocodile head I told you about?
Yes.
You could equip it at this point in the game, and then you could swim down this, no problem.
As opposed to having to avoid them, right?
Yeah.
Because they come down and like basically shoot
Yeah, they have like spotlights, and if you get caught in the spotlight, you get caught. But if you have that alligator head, it's a lot harder for them to see you.
This is called a riverbed? What is it called? It's like a path,
it's a river.
It's a river, and it's like enclosed with these trees that are like covering the skyline a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But it's like a pretty like linear. You get from the where you are to the end of it. So you're having to dodge these spotlights and these people. So the crocodile hat helps.
It's essentially just like a hallway.
Yeah, exactly.
Now there's like this little side area where you can go, where you can get like an early grab at the sniper rifle.
In this area?
No, it's towards the exit of this area.
Okay.
You can grab the sniper rifle from here. You can grab some supplies, but it's optional. You don't have to go there, which is pretty neat. Like, you don't have to engage at all.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you choose to get the sniper rifle or don't get the sniper rifle, that's up to you. But regardless, Snake goes on and he reaches like this dock area.
Okay.
He's at the far end of like a lake, and he's peering in through his little binoculars. And guess who he sees?
Sokolov!
He sees Sokolov himself.
Finally. I'm glad he's alive.
Yeah, he's just kind of hanging out.
The doc. And not only is Sokolov there, but we see a woman there.
Oh, a woman?
Yes. Her name is Tanya. And she is Sokolov's lover.
Oh, so he's been cheating on his wife.
I always thought it was his wife, but no, they're in America.
Yeah, they're in America.
Damn, so he's a lover? Damn.
Wow.
Men.
Wow, you can't trust no one these days.
No men these days.
Yes, man.
So, Sokolov and Tanya are there. And not only are they there, but our man Vogan / Thunderbolt is there. And he grabs Tanya and just shocks the shit out of her.
He does shock the shit out of her, but he says that every time you try to escape, that your lover will suffer the consequences.
I like how you say, but he warned him.
I'm not condoning anything.
Okay, what weren't you condoning earlier?
I wasn't condoning groping before. Look, I realize that this episode might not paint me in the best light.
Can't trust men these days.
You can trust me, god damn it. I'm just saying, like there was context. I just wanted to give the context.
It's like, but Vogan warned him.
I did it. Oh my god.
So, yeah, Vogan's like, look, Sokolov. Obviously, he's trying to pull out information from Sokolov. And instead of hurting Sokolov, he hurts his girl, Tanya. And Vogan shocks her so much. Doesn't her, like, pantyhose rip?
Yeah.
Her pantyhose rips, and then he shocks her to the point of her fainting. And then he throws her on the ground, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Then Ocelot comes in.
Oh, great.
And he's like, hey, not so fast, traitor. And he pulls out 3 revolvers now.
Does he start juggling them?
He does. I feel like he must have saw this at a party once, and he was like, oh, I can't wait to try this.
He's like, oh, they got bowling pins? I'm going to do it with revolvers.
So, you know, like Russian roulette, right? It's a very weird game where...
Yeah, to call it a game is so, right? Like,
yeah, it's very weird, but okay, everybody knows what Russian roulette is. So he does that with 3 revolvers, and he's juggling them.
and it's funny because he's Russian roulette, usually you do it to yourself. Nah, he's just doing it to Sokolov.
He's doing it to Sokolov. And he's like, I'm going to pull this trigger 6 times, and whatever happens, happens.
So he is juggling these revolvers and occasionally getting one of them, pointing it at Sokolov, and pressing the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully for Sokolov, none of them go off. But, as anyone would as well, Sokolov pisses himself out of fear.
Huh. Looks like your luck hasn't run out yet.
I feel like this is like a theme for these games, where
Just
the innocent scientist pissing themselves in terror.
It's also, I feel like it's funny that Ocelot does this. It's almost emasculating, right? Making this man kind of whimper and pee on himself when Ocelot just got the shit beat out of him by Eva and Snake earlier.
I feel like that this is the one way for Ocelot to feel like he's the man. You know what I mean? Like he's like
he is who he thinks he is. Sokolov, his girl was knocked out and shocked. He got pants full of piss.
So he fires off 5 shots at Sokolov. And he's going to fire the 6th one, where it's caught and fired, not by Ocelot, but by the boss. And she shoots it into the lake.
Hi, the boss. The whole cast of characters is here.
The whole crew. And the boss is like, there's no such thing as luck on the battlefield.
I feel like she knew that was going to be... She knew, though, that was going to be the one that had the bullet in it, which is just goes to show...
Like, I feel like she has some mathematical calculations in her brain. Going like, All right, he put it in the 6th chamber, spun it so it's in the 2nd chamber. Now he's juggling it. Okay, this is the one. And then she makes her entrance. She just wants to be really cool.
But she does look really cool.
She does look cool, admittedly. So
They also kind of look alike, which is funny. Like, they both have, like, blonde hair, and I don't know, they kind of look alike to me.
anyway, she dismantles his revolver because why not?
Because she could just fucking do that.
Just, I feel like she does that to everyone.
That's her party trick.
That's her party trick. Yeah, she just tosses it back to Ocelot and just chastises him, and then he leaves.
Emasculated yet again.
The boss goes up to Volgan and she's like, "Hey, the pain, yeah, he's dead." And Vulcan's like, "God damn it!" And then he just punches the wall because he's a very calm individual who can control his emotions. And he's like, "Well, he's definitely a child, but he's one of yours."
So they know it's Naked Snake.
Oh yeah.
They know he's out here.
So the boss is like, "Hey, don't worry. I got more of my boys, all right? We got him." And then the doors open, and this comatose old man in a wheelchair just wheels out
By himself.
by himself.
He's not moving it himself. It's not an electric one.
It's
just,
like somebody just kind of pushed him and ran away. And he's just rolling.
and he's knocked out. And that's one of her men.
Yep.
This is one of her boys.
Well, thankfully, there is another boy.
Who magically appears.
He magically appears. He was invisible, you see.
Obviously.
Obviously, he was invisible. And he was the one pushing the wheelchair.
Okay.
And they are the end and the fear, respectively. Now, the fear is the invisible one. And he could, like, run on water and stuff.
Yeah, we get a little cutscene of him just looking out.
It's fine. She's like, "I leave him to you, the fear." And he's like, "The fear." And then he runs away.
I don't want to diss Vamp, but I get kind of Vamp vibes from him.
How dare you?
Not because of the running on water, but just like, you guys look a little funky.
Yeah.
Because the fear, his eyes are like bloodshot or something. He looks a little vampiric.
He does look, yeah, he's got that vampire hairline too going for himself.
It's funny, right? There's a vampire. What is it, the Widow's Peak?
Yeah.
He's just like gray. Like he looks sickly, otherworldly. Then you have the End, who was at the end of his life.
Yeah, he's sleeping. It looks like he has like liver spots all over his head.
He's a very, very old man.
I
wish I knew this guy's name, but shout out to the guy who cosplayed as the End at Metal Gear Solid Con. We actually hung out with him the night of the con. Great dude.
Amazing guy.
Great dude. If you listen to the podcast, thank you. But also, like, fantastic cosplay. I think he was new to Metal Gear as well, right?
Yeah. I think he was like a water engineer or something like that.
He was just a cool dude.
He worked with water or something. Anyway.
But yeah, sorry. I have seen a cosplay of the End, and I was like, that was sick. Anyway, sorry.
So Volgan takes one look at the End and he's like, "Is he dead? What is he okay?"
Mm-hmm.
And the boss is like, "Yeah, he's conserving whatever energy he has left."
That sounds like me.
So it's like, normally he is dead. But he'll awaken when the time is right.
Cool. These are her boys. This is the Cobra unit.
This is the Cobra unit. The boss is the only normal one. Okay. So Snake sees this whole group of people. The fear runs away into the forest, and everyone else kind of goes inside. Everyone just goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And Snake is tasked to come out and navigate this dock area.
Mm-hmm. The dock leads to
a warehouse. This warehouse is, for me, a very annoying part of the game. It can be a little challenging at times with like the verticality of it, and like it's awkward to like aim your gun in certain directions. But it's not hard.
It's a small section as well.
But it's not hard for Snake. Snake gets through this no problem. Snake goes through this warehouse and he ends up in like a forest area now that is completely desolate of any soldiers or mines or anything. But this area has like a kabillion traps. Like Macaulay Culkin went through here and set up every trap known to mankind. There's like, you set up a tripwire. There's a log with spikes that comes out. There's pitfalls. There's like a trap where it grips your leg and hoists you up and you got to cut yourself to get down.
You can step on a rake and the rake hits you.
Yeah.
I wish.
Or you step on a rake, the rake hits you and you're like, ah, and then you turn around to recoil and then another rake hits you.
That's the worst trap.
The double rake.
The double rake.
So if you somehow make it through this area alive. Oh, also, if you have a keen eye, there's actually like a dead scientist you could spot in this area.
He tried to
probably tried to escape. And which makes sense because the next area is the lab. So Snake has a couple of options to get into this lab. There is either a door.
One, the front door.
The front door.
Two.
But it's locked. So
it's an option.
You would think. Guess what you got to do?
Blow it up.
No. You knock. You knock on the door.
Obviously.
And so the guys, they're like, okay, just a second. And then he opens up the door, and then you could sneak in real quick from behind when he exits the door.
Fantastic soldier.
He's the
best one.
The best stealth master.
Or
there's the less comical way. There's a vent on the other side where you can just crawl through.
That's what I did because I was scared.
That's what pansies use that.
I
use it too. So Snake enters in this lab area, and it's like a complex.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the lab building in front of you. Now, remember that disguise that Eva told you to put on?
Thankfully,
you still have it.
And when you put it on, not only do you have a nice little, scientist coat on, you keep the bandana on.
You keep the bandana
because goddamn, that the bandana stays on.
And my favorite little tidbit or like little Easter egg, I guess you could say. I don't know what you call it. Snake's ID card, like his name,
scientist, name tag.
Scientist name tag has a photo of him on it with the bandana on. It's so silly looking.
You know, scientists are probably hard workers. They have their likes. And he's just a scientist who really likes his personal sense of style.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a scientist who really just has a certain look to him.
What we're trying to say is Snake does not look like a scientist at all. The fact that this is working is ridiculous. So Snake pushes forward because the guards are dummies.
that he has a great costume or disguise.
And he opens up the door and enters the lab proper.
And in here, we're going to find, hopefully, Sokolov.
Yeah. But that's for next episode.
Yay! Next episode. We are done for today. Thank you all for listening. What we didn't mention earlier, which I just want to acknowledge because it pisses me off, but there was a moment when Vogan was shocking, Tanya, Sokolov's partner.
Oh, yeah.
And she gets groped and shocked. He touches her. He shocks her from her boob, drops her, and then when it's time for all of them to leave, I guess she wakes up, or maybe she wasn't knocked out, and he's like, oh, it's raining, blah, blah, blah. You're going to entertain me. What's he say?
Sokolov isn't worth your love. You can entertain me until the rain stops.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't care. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna sound like a prude. I'm gonna sound like, oh, Chris was too woke, whatever. No, I hate that. That was terrible. I guess it's a way to make sure you understand that Vogan's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yikes, Tanya, this obviously the connotation of what he just said alludes to one thing. You're not worthy of being the lover, so entertain me. Like, I hate, and she has no choice. It's just terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
it's a messed up situation all around.
Yeah, it's messed up and it's disgusting. And I just wanted to point that out because we were talking about Berserk earlier, and we were talking about
Yeah.
And there's just like, I don't know, it's
Yeah, there are certain topics that you don't like, and that is very valid.
yeah, certain topics I don't like, and like certain topics where I don't know, things are depicted, and I think kind of reminds me of like Otacon's backstory in
In
2,
Yeah.
where we find out about like his
How he was taken advantage of.
and so I just think it's little blips in these games and these stories, but heavy and worth I think discussing and acknowledging as wrong and not just something to brush over.
Maybe we could do a 201 in the future talking about these. I mean, this would be a heavy topic.
That would be a hell of an episode. But I think it's important just to recognize like that's heavy.
Mhm.
That's heavy and disgusting, and I have a lot to say, but I just want to note that Vogan sucks, disgusting man.
No, Volgan is like by far an evil man. He's not a good guy at all.
Yeah, and we'll come to see more of that. But that ends today's episode. T, thank you very much. T did a lot of the notes, a lot of this because my migraine was it's in full effect. So I appreciate you. Thank you, T.
No, thank you for. You shouldn't even be doing this right now. So I just want to acknowledge that you are a real trooper, and you shouldn't have to be doing this. But thank you for doing it anyway.
I love you, and I love the podcast, and I love everybody. So I want this to come on time. So
Well,
I do my best. I appreciate you though. Thank you. I'll be sure if anything bad, I'm okay to postpone stuff, but I'm okay right now.
okay.
Thank you, T. We'll be back in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, what's gonna happen? I think.
Well, we'll officially be in the Renaissance Fair.
I think Silent Hill 2 comes out.
It does it?
I think so. Yeah.
Get out! No way.
In 2 weeks' time, it'll be October, I believe, and we'll be that much closer to maybe some Delta news.
Hopefully.
I think Delta news is coming out this week for the Tokyo Game Show.
I feel like Delta News always comes out in an off week for us.
But we'll have stuff to talk about next week.
We'll have stuff to talk about.
But if you listen this far, thank you. We appreciate you. We are close to the year of Metal Gear University. And with that, everyone, thank you. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.